All right, so good morning. So we'll just have a couple of blocks. And let's see, let's start with the block under the shoulders in the Baddha Konasana, or you could have your legs straight if you would really rather. And of course, the other option is lying flat on the floor without the block under the shoulders. So maybe starting out sitting, getting a little bit of stretch in those hip joints. Getting the block behind you on whatever height or whatever object you have. Maybe it's a pillow, maybe it's a book, maybe you're just going flat on the floor. And here we go, easing our way over the block. Inhale, expanding across the upper chest. Exhale, softening and letting go. Melting over the block, melting into the floor. And really feeling the breath, letting that help stretch things out a little more. Breathing into the upper chest. And then also drawing that breath all the way down into the lower belly and out the inner thighs, out the knees, or maybe down through the legs if you're using the straight legs. As we're breathing and we inhale, that inhale comes in through the upper chest, expands, draws down into the lower belly. Then exhale, returning, coming up from the base of the spine, from the lower belly, up and out through the nose, maybe through the mouth, and energetically out through the top of the head. Breathing down and exhaling up. And then let's think about it the other way around. Think about the inhale starting in the lower belly and drawing up the spine. The inhale begins in the lower belly and moves up the spine. Exhale starts in the upper chest and pours down into the lower belly. So you can exaggerate that feeling a little if that helps, since this is sort of a counterintuitive, counter-physiological way to go. Inhale the lower belly, and then as you approach the end of the inhale, really let that upper chest expand. And then as you exhale, letting go of the upper chest, pressing that down, feeling like the exhale travels downward and out through the pelvic floor, out through the city. We do a similar breath when we're sitting and taking our arms up and down as we inhale up through the top of the head, exhale, bringing the arms down. It's not that one way is the better way or the right way to be working with the breath, just different. One way might be more useful in a certain situation, another way in, well, maybe not thinking so hard about the breath. We'll take a few more moments here. If your legs aren't straight, sliding them out to straight. Stretching the arms up overhead. And then we will come up to sitting. And sitting in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. We were there a long time on that block. Feeling all that blood rushing back into the upper back where it was on the block. Anyway, here we are in Sukhasana. Giving the lengthened up space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. Slowly releasing with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale, pouring down the sides of the neck off the tops of the shoulders. So here we're sort of doing that reverse breath. Inhale, drawing up and out the top of the head. Exhale, pouring those sides down. And while we're sitting, let's really think about the other way. Inhale starts at the top and moves down. Exhale, coming up the spine and out the top of the head. Maybe one part of that feels awkward. It doesn't feel like it's really doing anything. That's fine. Whatever you're feeling, just noticing. Part of all this is just a way to get yourself a little more focused inside, a little more focused on the breath. And then we'll finish with that down and up breathing. Going to a little more just breathing. And reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing down. Now we're adding in an idea of breathing wide to the side as part of the whole thing as well. And let's do this once more. And then changing the cross of the legs and coming forward and over. Pouring over, breathing into the back of the body. Nice big round breaths. So sometimes too, without even necessarily thinking about that breath so much, when we are just feeling integrated with our body, just thinking the general idea of connecting the breath to the movement, breathing through the movement, all those little details of up and down and out to the side with our breathing just happen. So we can either focus like a little beam, particularly on one of those aspects. That's one way. And then the other way is just going for the general and letting all of those aspects happen. And then coming up, unfurling the spine vertebrae by vertebrae back up on top of the spinning bone. Inhale and exhale. And let's come up and downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, big yawn in the back of the knees. Oh, and walking the dog or anything else you want to do, I forgot to say that, assuming everybody's psychic today, I guess. And then finishing up with whatever you're doing, being in the best downward facing dog at this moment, nothing moving but the breath. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And then sliding out onto our stomach into the Sphinx. Rolling back with the elbows and forearms along through the center line. Reaching on through the legs. Wide across the collar. And inhaling up the front, exhale, pouring down the back. Here, once again, we're doing an inhale from the base of the spine up, and exhale from the top of the head down to the base of the spine. What happens if we go the other way here? Inhaling up the back of the body, exhale, pouring down the feels kind of weird to tell you the truth. All right, and then letting that breathing, deep breathing. As we reach a little more through the toes, and we'll bend the right leg. Pulling against imaginary resistance, give a little squeeze, and then pressing that right leg back out to straight against resistance. And then we'll bend the left leg in. Reaching long, bend the knee, give a little squeeze. Extending that leg out, really trying to bridge pose into the floor. Let's do that again. Inhale and exhale, right leg in, hold, and then taking a breath, extending it back out. And then the left, bending it in, deep breath and deepen. Bending that left leg out. Let's bend both legs. Adding a reach toward the ceiling with the toes and the top of the head. And extending both legs out, calming down, forehead on the hand. Ah. And then let's bring the arms around behind and interlock the fingers, rolling the shoulders out. And then we'll lift up in Salabhasana, the locust. Whatever is here at this moment, reaching long through the toes, reaching so much that those legs lighten or maybe lift off the floor, but not straining. Maybe they don't quite lift off the floor, that's fine. And coming down. And let's feel ourselves back up. Downward facing dog. A little cat cow rippling along the way. And there we are. Downward facing dog. You can go through the vinyasa if you want any version. And there we all are once again, or still in downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up, reaching long through the heels. Bending the right knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Bring that left knee down with strength and Vinyasa. Breathing the arms all the way around and back up overhead. And Namaste. And let's step forward into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over, taking a few breaths here. Arming all the way up to standing, big front body yawn. Pressing the arms down along through the top of the head. And let's circle the shoulders to interlock the fingers behind, lengthening up the front of the body. Here we go. We're doing Salabhasana as if we were on the wall in front of us. Coming forward and over, pressing out through the hands. And releasing the hands. Little concave back, inhale and exhale, pouring over, and then into the chair pose, pulling the hinge of those hips back, lifting forward and up with the upper body. And we'll twist to the right. Bringing that right arm around, hands to Namaste. And Namaste, center, pouring over into the forward bend. And we'll step back with the left leg, so we're in our right lunge again. And we'll come up in either the warrior one or maybe the high lunge, or you can go back to the kneeling lunge. Using your hands on your knee or thigh to help. We'll breathe the arms wide and around into the eagle pose. Right arm coming. Make sure you're not losing the lunge. And breathing those arms up, letting them untwine and just down to the floor. Stepping back to the plank, through whatever vinyasa, downward facing dog. Deep breath here. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. Letting that exhale be nice and long. Inhale and long. And then back up to downward facing dog. And we'll go around on the left. Lifting the left leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrants. Through to the lunge. And bring that right knee down and Vinyasa. And breathing those arms all the way around and back up overhead. Namaste. And stepping forward into the concave back halfway up. Pouring over, taking a few breaths here, really extending through the legs. Or maybe you've got a bend in the knees. Relaxing the face and the jaw and neck. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down long through the top of the head. Circling the shoulders to interlock the fingers behind, lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And then coming forward and releasing the hands. And a little concave back. Inhale and exhale, and then kind of a similar action to bring us into the chair pose, Utkatasana. Lifting to the left, wide arms. And then bringing that left arm around, hands to Namaste. And Namaste in the center. And just pouring over. Stepping back with the right leg. And so we're in the left lunge, coming up in the warrior one or the lunge. And breathing the arms wide and around into the equal pose, arms left arm. And breathing those arms up and stepping back to the plank through whatever version of the Vinyasa and downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here in downward facing dog. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And then let's slide out onto our stomach into that space again. Pelvis into the floor, reaching through the legs. And then down. And so we'll just have the forehead on the hands, or you could do a little bit of a lift up with the upper body if you want to suspend your nose above the floor. But bring your attention back there to the legs, reaching long through the legs. And then we'll lift just the right leg with the straight leg. Really make it straight. Pulling up with the back of the thigh is almost to press down with the top of the foot toward the floor to keep that leg straight. And reaching the right leg down, lifting the left leg up. Think of the thigh pressing upward and the front of the foot, the front of the shin there, almost pressing down. Bring the left leg down. We'll do that again. So we aren't lifting with our foot, we're reaching long through the foot, and it's the thigh doing the lift. Bringing the right leg down, and then the left. Bringing that down. So still staying low in the upper body so we can really focus on the legs, reaching long through both legs to lift them. And you might find when you do that press down feeling of the front of the shin and the foot there, your feet can touch the floor. So doing that, and then take a little small bend, just a little. Feeling how the back of the thighs do engage more. And then extend those legs out, feeling the press down. And letting that go. Yeah, so when we do put a little hand up with a little bend in the legs, it does make that thigh muscle contract more, but it makes the thigh muscle do more work and less work in the gluteus maximus and deep in the hip joint. All right, Anyway, let's interlock our fingers. Then we'll do it as Savasana. Rolling the shoulders out, reaching back through the hands, lengthen to lift. Whatever lift is left, and then release the fingers, palms toward the ceiling. And coming down. Ah, let's heal ourselves up. A little cat and cow. And into simplified Virasana, sitting on heels. Ah, breathing after having our face in the floor for so long. And then let's take a nice spacious upward lifting back bend with with the Ustrasana, the camel pose, as we ascend up onto our knees, pulling the hip bones up, tailbone down, big lift up and over, hands to the sacrum or maybe to the heels. Inhale and exhale. And back up. And then we'll do that once again. Let's go back to thinking of our breath circling. I think in general, we go up the front and down the back with our circling around in this back bend. So feeling that, and see if you can reverse it, coming up the back and down the front. Thinking of yourself as a big circle. All right, here we go. Arms up. Lots of length coming over, hands to the sacrum or the heels. Inhale up the front of the body, exhale, pouring down, back. We're sort of rolling backwards toward our head. And then a feeling of rolling forward, breathing up the back of the body, down the and then that's more than enough here, making our way out. Down, simplified Virasana. Hands onto the floor. And then a little micro cats and cows. Or you could come all the way onto all fours if you want. And then let yourself pour over into child's pose, breathing across the back of the body. All right, so we're pretty much down on the floor for the rest of class. Julian's been taking a little time out. All right, and we're sitting in Dandasana, the stick pose, with our legs straight out in front. And let's come forward and over. Inhale and exhale, pouring over. So being patient, we just did a lot of back bending. Now we're asking that back of the body we were just contracting, asking it to stretch and extend. And coming up. And we're coming back to Baddha Konasana. So really try to feel the process. Those legs roll out, pull up with the inner thighs spinning around and under, drawing those feet together. Knees out to the side. And let's take a forward. And coming up. So we're going to slide back out to Dandasana. I'm really feeling that process. Sliding out. The legs are sort of rotated out and then they come together to parallel. Deep breath. And then just a brief little forward bend settling in this. And we'll pull the legs back up to Baddha Konasana. Just being here, maybe a little forward bendy squinge for a moment, and then sliding those legs back out, turning them back to parallel. And then we'll add on, bringing the legs back in Baddha Konasana. And then we'll go to Vinyasa. So I'll be the right left here. You put your right hand on the floor, take the left arm, let that left arm lift and pull the left knee across, left ankle into the arch of the right foot as we twist to the right. And then coming back, picking up that left arm, picking up the left knee. I'm leaning a lot back on my right hand to make that transition, as you couldn't see that. And then here we are, Baddha Konasana. And then other side, right arm lifts up, right leg lifts up and across. And then into Vinyasa, twisting to the left. And then coming back, lifting that left arm up, right arm up, sorry, back to Baddha Konasana. Driving here, sliding those legs out straight, turning them parallel. Give a brief forward. And let's do that again. Pulling the legs back, Baddha Konasana. And we'll take the right side across first again. Right side, coming up and around. Whoops, we just twisted to the left. I guess we're twisting to the left, or whichever side we want. And back, Baddha Konasana. Other side, maybe you came with me lifting the left arm and leg up and twisting right or the other way. Back to Baddha Konasana. Sliding legs out straight into Dandasana. And then we're going to add on. So let's let me make sure I've got my right and left organized. We're bringing our right leg back in Janu Shirsasana. Maybe shifting the right sitting bone back. And we're facing the left leg, feeling a little twisting to the leftness as we reach with the right hand down the left leg, coming forward, pressing that left hand into the floor. And sliding that right leg back to the left. And then bring the left leg back. And we're facing the right leg, feeling a little twisting to the right as we reach with the left arm down, coming forward. Pressing into the right hand into the floor to help. And now sliding that left leg back out to meet the right. Dandasana. Get a little micro forward or two. Pulling back to Baddha Konasana. All right, let's see if I can go the way I meant to go. So we're going to bring our left arm and leg up and over to the right, twisting to the right. And reaching up with the left arm and bringing the left knee back, Baddha Konasana. And then right side comes up and over, twisting to the left. And the right side lift up, back to the center, Baddha Konasana. Sliding the legs out to straight Dandasana. And then let's bring our right leg back into the Janu Shirsasana position. Feeling that little bit of twisting left over our left leg. But this time we can start out reaching with the right hand, but then bring the left to meet it. So we're coming forward with both arms. And whatever amount of twisting to the leftness you need to do, trying not to let the shoulders be tilted. Bringing that right shoulder down and left up a little bit, but it's not really the shoulders, it's the torso from the rib cage. Slide right leg out next to the left, down dust. Bring the left leg back, Janu Shirsasana. And we're facing our right leg, reaching a little bit across, as much twisting to the right as you need as we head into the forward bending with both arms reaching, and as much twisting to the rightness as you want. So we kind of can maybe see or feel the shoulders, but that levelness we're trying to get in the torso is coming from the ribs and from the torso, not just sort of a squinching of shoulder. Yep. Sliding that left leg out next to the. All right, we've got one more round of this, but let's come forward in Paschimottanasana for a few breaths. Evening out the two sides. Maybe your brain, like mine, gets a little scrambled when there's lots of right and leftness and it needs to kind of just smooth out and settle down. And then yeah. All right, here we go around with that once more, only we'll rid of our jump socks when we get there. Pulling the legs up to Baddha Konasana. Left arm and leg come up and over, Bharadvajasana, twist to the right. And then that left arm, opening the left knee back to Baddha Konasana. Other side. Lifting the right arm and great leg up and around into Bharadvajasana. And then right sides lift up and open. Baddha Konasana. And then sliding the legs back out to Dandasana, going from the outer rotation back into the parallel. And we'll pull that right leg back into Janu Shirsasana. All right, and this time we'll Parvrida, adding the twist. So we'll twist to the right toward our bent leg. And then left hand on the left leg. All right. Reaching out with the right arm, reaching up with the right arm, and over. Maybe since we've been doing this more in the conventional way of thinking of the Janu Shirsasana, feeling how this is a twist up and open from the forward bends we had been doing. The forward bend over our left leg, but with the forward coming from the side, left ribs facing the leg. And then a big lift up with that right arm, and we'll slide that right leg back out to Dhammas. All right, here we go. Left leg come back. There's our right leg that's the front, and we'll twist to the left toward the back leg. And the right hand onto the right leg, reaching out with the left arm, reaching up and yeah, so the further back you pull your left leg, it's more of a diagonal back, the more distinct this feeling of, the more distinct the two aspects of being in a konasana to the side or being in a forward bend, twisting up and open are. Maybe I didn't need to say all that. Let's breathe. And now slide that left leg out to meet the right. And if you're not square on your mat, getting there. We're going to be rolling to the floor. So just make sure you have room as we come forward over the legs. And then rolling down to 4. Arriving on the floor. And then we'll just do a little return to our back bending, getting the block, and we'll do the block under the sacrum, or you can just lie flat there in Shavasana. Block under the knees, lifting up, block under the sacrum, sliding the legs out to straight. Giving a push with hands, lengthening out that lower back. Forward bending. So now we did a lot of forward bending and flexing. Now we're going the other way again. So being patient, letting your body readjust. And then cooperating with the block with however much intensity you feel like putting in this moment. All right, and then let's bend the knees, lifting up that block, moving it out of the way, rolling down, and on the floor. And then if you want, bringing the knees into the chest, or maybe up into a happy baby, or maybe just sliding out to Shavasana. And sometime in the next 30 seconds or so, we'll all be here in Shavasana. Breathing back to the body. Moving the fingers and toes, getting circulation going, the circling of wrists and ankles. Stretching the arms up a little. Bending the knees. And then gently making your way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine. Taking another moment, sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you.